Let that energy breathe in. Hmm. Yeah. Thank you, God. Hmm. So there's these two boys, and they're acting up in class and everything in school. So their mom wanted to teach them a lesson. Ron and Jeremy. And mom said, you know what? I'm going to take them to the priest. Have the priest talk to them, get them to understand, that God sees everything. They wanted them to understand God is watching you everywhere. So she talked to the priest, and the priest said, bring one of them at a time. So he said, we're going to bring Ron to come talk to the priest. So she brought Ron in, set Ron down, and the priest said, Ron, because he wanted to get him to understand, right? He said, Ron, where is God? Ron didn't say anything. He was terrified. So the priest got a little, wanted to get his attention. So he said, Ron, where's God? Again, nothing. Didn't say a word. So the priest said, okay, wait a minute. Let me really get his attention. He said, hey, Ron, I'm talking to you. Where is God? Ron got up and ran all the way home. He got to Jeremy. He ran in the room. He said, Jeremy, God is missing. And they think we took him. He didn't quite understand the point they were trying to get across, right? He didn't quite get it. Didn't quite get it. But we can work together and use our spiritual power of understanding to understand each other better. We could use that in our world right now, amen? Right? We could use that, right? A little more understanding. So I'm going to share some ideas today how we can pause to understand, for understanding a little bit better, how we understand each other and our world just a little bit better. So I'm going to share some ideas we can do that. One of them is going to be this: living oneness. Not just talking about it, but how do we live it? Living oneness. The other one is going to be speaking less and listening more. Anyway, can we use some of that? Yeah? Speaking less and listening more. And lastly, embracing our spiritual power of understanding, right? And challenging our beliefs, which is important. So first, living oneness. I'm going to share this from the Tao Te Ching. This is the 10th verse. And it reads, carrying body and soul and embracing the one, can you avoid separation? Can you let your body become as supple as a newborn child's? In the opening and shutting of heaven's gate, can you play the feminine part? Can you love your people and govern your domain without self-importance? Giving birth and nourishing, having yet not possessing, working yet not taking credit, leading without controlling or dominating. One who heeds this power brings the Tao to this very earth. This is the primal virtue. We'll take a couple of pieces of that. Can you avoid separation? Can we avoid separation from the oneness that we all are? Can we avoid it? No. No. We are all connected, and we can't change that. We can't avoid it even if we want to. Right? What does Rumi say? We're not a drop in the ocean, we are the ocean in a drop. We're all connected. We can't avoid it if we want to. There's no way to avoid separation or oneness, excuse me. There's no way to avoid that. I love this. Can we have without possessing? Having without possessing. I remember my daughter. Matter of fact, my daughter, her birthday's coming up on Tuesday, August 31st. She'll be 23 years old. We're going to hang out today and do some things for her birthday. But I remember vividly when her mother called me frantically to tell me that my daughter said she was gay. And I was like, she was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I was like, well, nothing. We're going to do what we always have done, right? Anybody have children? Okay. You notice we can have them, but we can't control and possess what they do, right? Or who they are. They become who they are. And I said, we're just going to love her just like we always have, right? It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Can we have without possessing and controlling what is going on outside of ourselves? We can't do that. I love this. I took leadership training 2006, 2007. And one of the things they taught us was that leaders create more leaders, not more followers, right? It's powerful when you think about that. You create more leaders when you're a true leader. Yeah. I coached basketball with my brother, uh, junior high kids. And I remember being there wanting to teach the kids how to play basketball and share all these things with them. But they were different than I was when I was 14 or 15 years old. You know, they talked different. They had different skill levels. But I wanted them to be just like me. But they can't be just like me. They're them. They're different, right? Can we lead without controlling or dominating? So I recognized something. I went through that process with my brother. I was like, wow, even though we have all these differences, our team has one goal. It's the same thing. To win the game, right? We have to win the championship, whatever it is, that's still oneness, right? Yes, we have differences, but if we want to understand each other better, we need to understand that we're still part of the one. And working with teams is a great way to do that. If you work in teams or play sports in any way, you'll learn about that, and it's powerful to do that. So if you do it as a child, or if you have children, get them into team sports where they can understand that working together and that oneness is so, so powerful. I love this quote by Ernest Holmes. It says, "The manifest universe is the body of God. All people are incarnations of the one Spirit." All people, even the people that don't look like us, even the people that come from a different country, they don't speak our language, right? They don't believe the same things we do. We're all part of the one Spirit, and it's powerful. So how do we let go? How do we get to that understanding of that one? We let go of these ego-dominated thoughts so we can live in oneness. So I'm going to share some ideas of how we can let go of ego-dominated thoughts and live within that oneness. The first one is this: pay more attention to your inner world and how you react with your experiences. Have you ever noticed when something happens, what your body is doing when someone says something that maybe you don't like? What happens? Or maybe someone just looks different than you. What happens? Yeah. Maybe you're in a certain area and you feel what's happening in your body. Pay attention to what's happening inside your body, in your inner world, because you know what happens in your inner world is going to show up in your outer world. If you have chaos going on the inside, you're going to see chaos on the outside, right? So pay attention to what's going on in your inner world. Another one is this: notice the coincidences in your life. I love this, right? Synchronicity is happening all the time. All the time. We were just talking about drum circles, right? And I go to a drum circle on Thursday nights in Palm Harbor. Love it. And I'm meeting all these new people because I'm going to a different thing. And so as I'm there, I meet this guy who does drum circles at senior homes, right? And he calls me, connects with me, and says, "Hey, we should work together. Maybe you can come in and do meditation while I do this." That synchronicity is always happening, right? If you're vibing on the right vibration, you will feel that, and you will see those opportunities all the way. Pay attention to those coincidences in life, because that's when things coincide, right? Next is this: notice what you admire in others. You want to let go of your ego-dominated thoughts. Think about, what do you admire in others? What do you admire in others? I remember when I became a member at Unity North Tampa, Reverend Virginia had us do this thing where we wrote down people that we admire, and I wrote down my mom and Les Brown and some speakers and all this thing, and then she said, "What are the attributes that you like about these people?" And I said, "Well, they're loving and they're passionate and they're great speakers and all these things." And then she said, "The attributes that you see in other people are the attributes that you possess within yourself." Recognize that. Recognize that. Let go of those ego-dominated thoughts and get back to, wow, what I see in others and that I appreciate in others, I possess within myself as well. That's powerful. It's powerful to know. Last one is this: seek the good in others. You know what's amazing? If you look for the good in something, guess what? Come on, somebody. Guess what? You find it. Isn't that amazing? It's not really that hard. How many times we go around in this world and we're not looking for the good? If we look for it, we'll see it. We're not looking for it. We're looking for something to disagree with, right? But if you look for the good, you'll find it. It's like when you say you're looking for the good, you're looking for the God. That's what you're doing. You're looking for that oneness, those things that we do have in common. The next one I'm going to share with you is this: speaking less and listening more. Hmm. I get some chuckles out of that. Y'all want to hear what I got to say about it? Amen. Right off the top. Yes. Preach. We all need. Hey, and I'm preaching to the choir because I need it too. I need it too. Speaking less and listening more. We want to pause to understand. We got to speak less and listen more. I'm going to share this quote with you. Proverbs 18:2 says, "Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions." It's a tough one. That's a tough one, y'all. Some people don't want to hear that one. I'm going to say that one again. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. Ooh, that one stings a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah. So somebody say, yeah, think about it for a minute. Hey, I needed one too when I read it. It's true, right? We all can take it in and say, wow, how many times have I been sharing my own opinion more than thinking and listening some? Yeah, it's powerful, especially during this time that we're going through right now in our world. It's okay. It's okay to recognize these things, right? That's how we look at them, right? I'll share this with you. I was sharing with a congregant at another spiritual community after service, and she came to talk to me, and she was really, really upset. She had an adult child who was living in the home on drugs, not doing anything, and she was just upset. She wanted to talk to me. We talked for probably 30 minutes, and I kept beginning to give my advice, but then I stopped, and I just let her keep talking. I would every now and then say, well, what do you think you should do? That's about it. I just listened, and you know what? Have you ever noticed sometimes people talk to you and they want to share something with you, but they don't actually want you to give them advice. They want you to listen. Yeah, they just want you to listen. And so that's what I did. I just listened. We talked for 35 minutes. I probably said 2 sentences, and she said, "Thank you for listening to me." That's what she wanted. She wanted me to listen. She said, maybe I can call you another time. We can talk about it again. Maybe then we would get into more. But right then, she just wanted me to listen. That's it. We got to set that example of listening more to each other. I love this quote. The world is changed by your example, not by your opinion. Changed by your example. You want to understand each other better? Set the example on how you want to be understood. Set that example. It's powerful, right? You know what did they say? Everybody's got an opinion. I don't have to go any further with that one, right? I don't have to repeat that one. Everybody's got an opinion, right? Set the example. Set the example. I'm going to give you some ideas on how we can listen more. This is great. 7 of them. Be attentive and relaxed. When someone's talking to you, they're sharing, be attentive and relax. That means pay attention, right? And relax while you're listening. Not getting ready to say what you want to say, but just listen. Just listen. I love this. Maintain eye contact and face the other person. Does that sound funny? Maintain eye contact and face the other person. I'll share a story with you. A month ago, I walked into a convenience store. Literally, this happened. The clerk was doing something. She said, "Hello, how may I help you?" I didn't even know she was talking to me. I had no idea. She literally addressed me looking the other way. We got to look at each other when we're talking to each other. You want to be a better listener? Look at someone. And I know what happened. She was busy. She was multitasking, right? But she didn't even acknowledge my existence. You want to be a better listener? Look at somebody. Give them eye contact. It's important. I like this. Listen and paint a picture. Paint a picture of what's going on in in that person's world, in your mind, paint that picture. It helps you to understand them better, helps you to become a better listener. Paint a picture. Most importantly, do not interrupt. I had a conversation with my mom. We were talking a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I would listen to her, and then I would start to respond to her after listening to her because, I practice this stuff, right? Right? I was good. And then I would start to talk, and then she'd interrupt me and start talking again. If you want to have a conversation, if you want to understand each other better, you want to become a better listener, right? Then you can't interrupt someone when they're speaking. Right? Let them speak. Let them speak. Great thing to do here is ask questions to clarify if you don't understand something. Right? If you want to be a better listener, ask questions. Clarify what they understand. If you don't understand something, say, hey, I don't understand that. What did you mean by that? Can you explain what you mean? Ask the questions. I love this. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. There's a quote that I love to use. It says, are you open-minded enough to know where you're still closed-minded? Think about that one again. Are you open-minded enough to know where you're still closed-minded? Because it's hard. It's hard. I think we all can learn from that. So keep an open mind, right? And try to feel what the other person is feeling. Put yourself literally in their shoes. We talk about that. We say that phrase, but do we really mean it? Are we really putting ourselves in their shoes? Are we really attempting to understand the way they grew up, for instance? What were we talking about? Jameis Winston. You brought up how he grew up. You were putting yourself in his shoes. I like that. Yeah. How are you really putting yourself in someone else's shoes to understand their experience? You want to become a better listener? You want to understand each other better? That's what you can do. And when we do that, we'll understand each other better. This last one is this, using our spiritual power of understanding. Our spiritual power of understanding. The affirmation is that my understanding of truth deepens and directs my life. It's the ability to know, perceive, and apprehend. I took this from Lessons in Truth. We cannot reveal God to one another. We must each find God within ourselves. You can't tell somebody what God is. You can't tell somebody how to experience God. They have to experience it for themselves, and then they'll understand, right? But I can't tell you what God is, but I can tell you how I experience God. Right? And then you get that understanding. And it's powerful when we know that. And understanding begins with questioning. And I love this. Understanding begins with questioning everything. Right? You want to understand each other better? You want to understand our world better? We got to question everything, which means questioning our own beliefs. Right? Our own beliefs, which is so difficult. It kind of goes back to, are you open-minded enough to know where you're still closed-minded? How do you question something that you already believe? Because you don't question it because you believe it. Oh, that's hard, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But you can't take anything for granted. You got to be able to question your own beliefs. It's funny. We did Eddie Watkins' song earlier. We Come Together. I did that song weeks ago at another community. And one thing I noticed when I did the song is I had pulled the words to the song and off a video. And so I had first verse, second verse, third verse. When I did it at the community, they had the verses in verse. They had the second as the first and the first as the second. And I'm like, oh, man, I realized it as we were doing the song. Well, you can't stop in the middle of the service, right? So I'm going on. Afterwards, I wanted to go to the sound guy, the person setting up the music, and say, hey, you had the words wrong. But I didn't. I said, let me question my beliefs. Now, this is important. So I went home. I didn't say anything at all, but I went home, and I said, well, I'm going to pull up the video that I already looked at, that's where I got the lyrics from. Now, why would I do that? Why would I go and validate something that I already know that I saw? Because I just wanted to revalidate what I believe. I didn't really question my beliefs, did I? How about I then said, wait a minute, if I really want to question my beliefs, why don't I look for something else that might, how about a new video or a different video that has a song and it might be different? And guess what I found? The actual recording of the song was the other way. when I was able to actually question my beliefs. Now, that may sound trivial about a silly little song, but that ain't what I'm talking about. If you ain't hearing me if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what about it? What else do you believe that you're not questioning, that you're not willing to question? That's what I'm talking about. Maybe you need to challenge those beliefs. Doesn't mean they're wrong. I'm saying, are you willing to challenge what you believe? Are we living in a world right now where very few people are willing to challenge what they believe? I think we are. I think everybody watches what the news they want to watch. Not all of the news. They just watch their news. It's sad that we have that in this country, right? But that's what we do. We got this news and we got this news. Are you willing to challenge your beliefs? That's why I teach rational emotive behavioral therapy. It's about challenging your beliefs. If we want to come to a better place of understanding, we've got to be able to challenge our beliefs on everything. And it's very simple. It's very simple. It teaches that our beliefs control everything. Our beliefs control our thoughts. Do you know that? Your beliefs control what you think. Now, this is important. Your thoughts control how you feel, your emotions. Did you know that? Right? Your thoughts control how you feel. What you're thinking about controls how you feel. And how you feel, listen to this, controls how you act, what you actually do. Ooh, did you know that? And how you act affects how you show up in the world and how you experience the world. So it all goes back to challenging your beliefs. If you want to understand better, if you want to just pause for a minute and understand your world, yourself, each other better, we've got to be willing to challenge those beliefs. We've got to be willing to live oneness, understanding, respecting, understanding, and knowing that we are all connected to the one. We've got to be willing to talk less and listen more. And yes, use that spiritual power of understanding and challenge our beliefs. And if we do that, we'll pause. We'll be able to understand our world and understand each other better. That will change our experience in this world. It'll change our life, and it'll make it a better place. My name is Terence Young. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you today. Remember, the time is always now.